Hello gang, SharpShot21 here. It is finally time to start the V0.1 build. It's going to be a V0.1 and then I'd probably do some of the upgrades to get it to a 0.2, so we'll call it a 0.15. This is not going to be a standard build. This is going to be a heavily modified build. Well, slightly modified build. Using a different Z-axis control and movement mechanism. It's also going to be 100 millimeters taller than a standard V0. Any of them. I did that so I can have the extra build height, because the build plate dimensions are almost perfect for what I want at a standard V0, but the build height is not quite enough for what I need. So that extra 4 inches should get me what I want, or approximately 4 inches. It's not quite, but we all know how that works. Yeah, so we'll come along for the ride and we'll get this thing going. First episode, we'll probably get the heater and the magnet on the bed, and then start on the frame. So let's go from there. Starting with the bed, because you gotta have some time to get materials to set. So, cast aluminum, recessed cuts, forward screws. Bed magnet does not have the holes in it. We'll cut those later. And then the Canova heater, 24 volt, 60 watt. So let's get these mounted up and then we'll start on the frame. Alright, now go find something heavy, set it on here, and let it sit for a couple days. Make sure it all bonds. Got the rails prepped out. So now it's time to find our rail hardware. We are looking for M2s. I don't think it's those ones, but it might be. Or M2x6s by about 100. I think it's those. M2 nuts. And the nuts don't match the screws because I have more nuts. More M2 nuts. And M2 heat sets. So now we need to find some printed parts. The big box of printed parts we wait. It's nice to have a V0. You can print this, or a V2. You can print this thing in one piece. there's one. Two, three, four, five. There we go. So, these are going to need a little bit of cleanup. Some of them. Other ones are pretty good. The whole thing is we take some of these nuts and we work them into the holes. And I might just tap these in with a hammer and a punch. Get these all laid out. These go sort of like that in these channels. We get all the nuts in these, and then we will get them in the correct pieces. So I will be back in a few. So yes, we need the M2 by 0.4 by 6s for this. We also need 2 of the E extrusions. For this, E extrusions have the one hole and none on the rest. Keep in mind where the hole is. And then we're going to take these and we need to gently start to drive them in, and then we're going to take our rail, after I spooge myself with lithium grease here. Figure out what size this is. 1.5. You can keep the retention caps on for now. Do that. It's these little guys. They keep the carriage from sliding off. Those carriages are a bit of a pain to get back on. Should you, that's handy. Should you have them pop off. So these are a bit stiff, but that is in some ways a good thing. Stiff means they aren't going to come off. That one. I did every other hole on these, and you'll see that is obviously more than sufficient. Okay. Now, I'm going to go check what the measurement is, because there is a measurement here. So, grab your calipers and set them to 38 millimeters. So we've got a little ways to go. I have these just slightly tight. Oy, that is a stiff thing. We'll work this down to where this is 38 from the end. We'll do the same on the other side, then I'll come back when it's time to mount up the special ones for us. So we've got something modified here, and this is the first step where that comes into play. So I'll be back in a few. So we've got the 3 standard ones done for the sides and for the The X and Y are done. Now we're doing the Z. This one is a little different because this Z rail is 100 millimeters longer than the X and Y rails. Now that's for a couple reasons. Mainly, I wanted more build height than the standard V1, V0, V0.1, or V0.2s would provide. So I'm going 100 millimeters taller, which doesn't sound like much, but it's a not insignificant amount. So we have to do a little bit of adjustment and math, and so let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this is 17 instead of 10. So I'm going to ignore the bottom hole, and we're going to start from here. So 2, 4, 6. So the first screw, we'll start 3 down from the top. Okay, easy enough. Two, 3, yeah, excuse me, 4th one from the top. And we will get those bolted down. It's not really super important that you've got a lot of screws in these, just because I have so much clamping force that I'm really not too concerned about it. Okay, and then we can get this one mounted all the way in, finish it up, and I'll come back when that one's done. Alright, so those are all set now. These are our Z's, our Y, and our X, all done. And I think that's kind of where we'll leave this one. So, thanks for tuning in, thanks for watching. Yeah, it's been a few days, but we're starting to get this thing together. Hope to see you in the next one. Keep an eye out for it. And as always, thanks for tuning in. Happy printing. Sharps out.